We're living in a world that is just completely overflowing with images. There's this endless stream of media coming at us every single second. So how do we even begin to make sense of it all? And more importantly, how do we think critically about what we're watching instead of just consuming it?
When you think about videos that really make you think, your mind probably jumps to a few familiar categories, right? You've got your documentaries, which are all about presenting the facts. Then there are art films, exploring all kinds of subjective feelings. And, of course, media critique, which is there to analyze how all these images actually work on us. But what if a single form didn't have to choose between them? What if it could actually weave all of these threads together to create something totally new? Well, that form exists. It's called the video essay, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into. Okay, so let's get into it. The video essay is this really fascinating hybrid genre. The reason it's so powerful is that it just doesn't play by the usual rules. The theorist Ursula Biemann puts it perfectly. She defines the video essay as a genre that is, all at once, artistic, theoretical, and political. It intentionally plants itself in that interesting, kind of blurry gray area right between a traditional documentary and more experimental video art. And this is exactly where the video essay thrives, right in that tension. It often gets caught in the middle. For a documentary festival, it might feel a little too experimental, maybe too subjective. But for the art world, it can sometimes be seen as too socially involved, or even a bit too political. It's a form that just refuses to be put in a simple box. But that's its secret weapon. As Biemann says, by being an in-between genre, it gets to be a kind of mediator, moving freely between different cultural spaces and different ways of expressing ideas. Now, this in-between thing isn't just about mixing genres. It actually leads to a whole different way of thinking, one that happens directly on the screen. So here's the crucial point. The goal of a video essay isn't just to show you what happened, to document a reality. The real goal is to organize complexities, to take these tangled, abstract ideas about society or politics or culture and give them a visual form that we can actually grapple with. And this leads to this really powerful concept that some critics call direct theory. So instead of writing a long academic paper about a film, you make a film that is the theory. The argument isn't just illustrated by the pictures. The argument is built through the editing, the images, the sound. It's a whole different way of building an argument. Okay, so that all sounds pretty cool in theory, but how does it actually work in practice? Well, let's look at one of the most powerful things a video essay can do: unpack our relationship with history and memory. Think about watching any historical movie. It's so easy to just get swept up in the story, right? But how can we stay tuned into that story while also staying critical about how it's being told to us? The critic Jan Verwoerd has a great concept for this. He calls it double viewing. It's basically the skill of being in two states of mind at the exact same time. You're letting yourself get lost in the illusion, but you're also staying aware of the construction, the editing, the camera angles, all the little choices that are being made to shape your experience. So on one level, you're right there with the characters, you're emotionally invested. But on another level, at the very same time, you're noticing the cuts, you're questioning the camera's point of view, and you're asking yourself, wait, where did this footage even come from? It's a much more active and critical way of watching. A really fantastic example of this is a piece by Andres Sala called Entrevista. So he finds this old newsreel of his mother from when she was a passionate young communist, but the sound is totally gone. So what does he do? He hires a lip reader to figure out what she was saying, and then he shows the footage to his mother today. And her reaction is the perfect example of double viewing. She's both totally distanced from this person she used to be, but at the same time, she deeply identifies with her. She's watching the story and its construction at the exact same time. This kind of critical approach also makes the video essay an incredibly powerful tool for challenging power and for digging up hidden political histories. Yeah, some of the most amazing video essays out there work almost like a form of political archaeology. But instead of digging in the dirt for artifacts, the artist is digging through layers of media, architecture, and memory to uncover histories that have been erased. Hitto Steyerl's film The Empty Center is a perfect example. It's about Potsdamer Platz in Berlin. On the surface today, it's just this shiny corporate hub, but Steyerl peels back the layers. Underneath the corporate center is the Cold War death strip. Under that, you find the architectural heart of the Third Reich,
And even deeper, you find the site of the 1884 Congo Conference, where European powers literally drew borders across Africa. The film makes you see all of these histories stacked on top of each other, all in one place. Now, other artists take a slightly different tack. They challenge the documentary form itself to ask a really important question. Who actually has the authority to tell a story? And what are the conventions they use to seem credible? Walid Rad's Hostage, the Bakr tapes, is such a brilliant and provocative example of this. It looks and it feels exactly like a real video confession from a man who was held hostage in Lebanon. But here's the thing, it's completely fake. It's entirely fictional. And by copying the documentary format so perfectly, Rod forces us to question our own assumptions. He's critiquing the very way these stories of trauma are packaged and then consumed by Western audiences. So this ability to layer meaning and to question form really finds its ultimate expression in the digital age. When you take this critical approach and you combine it with modern technology, well, that's when things get even more interesting. The whole vibe of the digital essayist is captured perfectly by Ursula Biemann again, when she says, stuff it, distill it, stratify and compress it. It's all about density and layering and packing as many different perspectives as you can into a single frame. And of course, digital tools make this possible in a way that old-school analog editing never could. You can stack endless video and audio tracks, you can have multiple images on screen at once with scrolling text, and a really complex sound design, all competing for your attention. The result is an experience that kind of mirrors our own fragmented, information-heavy digital lives. So when you get right down to it, the video essay is really more than just another genre. It's a method. It's a toolkit for thinking critically, for navigating our crazy media landscape, and for understanding the world not just as it's presented to us, but for how it's actually put together. And that leaves us with a pretty vital question for right now. In an age of deepfakes and rampant disinformation, a time when seeing is no longer believing, the tools of the video essay, that skepticism, that self-reflection, that deep curiosity about how images make meaning, well, they might be more essential than ever. So the real question is, how can this form teach all of us not just what to see, but how to question?